Devender sir.
Ma'am, actually we are broadcasting this session on YouTube.
Sir, I'm just joining again, right? I'm joining again. There is
No,
some problem.
Please stay there.
Shall I join again or let me be here?
No, ma'am, please stay there.
But I'm not able to see anyone. I'm not able to see. I'm not able to see anything, honestly speaking, except my screen.
Ma'am, maybe you are sharing your screen. That's why nobody is visible.
I don't know actually, but your screen should be, your face and the others participants even have taken many sessions, but what's wrong in it, I don't know. So shall I join again? I hope that will, sometimes the problems overcome once I join again. It will take hardly a minute, right?
Ma'am, just a minute, ma'am. There is no problem. Everything is fine. Just a minute. Hold on, please. सीमा मैम प्लीज स्टार्ट करें. मैम एक्चुअली हम इस सेशन को YouTube पे लाइव कर रहे हैं. तो जितने भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं हमारे वो YouTube पे ज्वाइन करेंगे और जिसको भी लास्ट में जो भी क्वेरी सेशन होगा, क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन होगा, वहां पे हम उनको 1 by 1 एंट्री दे देंगे यहाँ पे जूम में. वो सारा काम मैं टेक्निकली हैंडल कर रहा हूँ. तो जो भी क्वेरीज वगैरह होंगी वो आज तक पहुंच जाएंगी सेशन के लास्ट में.
अच्छा,
जब भी आप अनाउंस करेंगे.
बट मैं आप लोगों का किसी का फेस नहीं देख पा रही हूँ.
जी एक्चुअली मेरा वीडियो ऑफ है और सीमा मैम इज सॉरी निशा मैम इज देयर.
No, I'm not able to see her. That's the same I'm saying. You don't know.
You if you are on laptop then you can keep it in gallery view. साइड बाय साइड गैलरी व्यू अगर करेंगे तो सीमा मैम का भी वीडियो आप देख पाएंगे. अगर मोबाइल पे है तो आप
नहीं, मैं मोबाइल पे नहीं हूँ, मैं इसी में हूँ. इसमें मैं किस पे जाऊँ? म्यूट, स्टॉप वीडियो, सिक्योरिटी.
जी व्यू जो है, व्यू पे राइट अपर कॉर्नर में व्यू है, वहां पे स्टैंडर्ड साइड बाय साइड और साइड बाय साइड गैलरी मिलेगा आपको. गैलरी करेंगे तो सीमा मैम भी सॉरी निशा मैम भी.
मेरे पास जो स्क्रीन शो हो रहा है, लेट मी टेल यू क्विकली in case if it is okay, fine, otherwise I'll start.
बिल्कुल सब कुछ फाइन है मैम. आपकी पीपीटी शो हो रही हैं, आपका वीडियो खुद का विजिबल है. और
तो आप एक काम कीजिएगा, लास्ट में जब हमारा मतलब जब सेशन होगा, then you come out with the name and the queries, then I will go accordingly, right?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल exactly.
No problem.
Please start, ma'am. Nisha ma'am, please start.
Okay. A very good morning to everyone. We have stepped successfully into the 12th day of this refresher program. Before moving ahead, I would like to thank everyone present here for joining this refresher program. Myself, Assistant Professor from on behalf of our esteemed university with the hope that you will have a great day ahead. Yes, that is subject specific ethical issues in first session and conflicts of interest in second session. Both topics were taken by Professor Dr. K.S. Gupta. And it's my pleasure to walk you through today's topic, that is complaints and appeals, examples and support from independent fraud. And now I'll introduce you all to our today's prestigious speaker, Dr. Seema Gupta. Before the speaker, I want to introduce Dr. Seema. She is professor at Amity University. She's from Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. She also served as acting director for more than 2 years at Nanak Institute of Management and IT. She has more than 2 decades of teaching experience and industrial experience. She has published more than 40 research papers in various national and international journals. Made me more proud of her after noting the different corporations and foundations she managed. So everyone, please join me in welcoming our guest speaker, Dr. Seema Gupta. Please, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks for your introduction and your concern, your appreciation. I welcome all the participants and good morning to all the participants for my warm welcome to all of you. And let us start with the discussion, which is related to the complaints and appeal frauds from India as well as abroad. So when we say here, what sort of the frauds in general we are dealing with? So the Contract Act, which is talk about the free consent. When we say the free consent means which is not related to any sort of 5 factors which we have already mentioned. What are these 5 factors? They are the coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation, and the last one is mistake.
नमस्कार जी.
Well, namaskar. Let us start. So when we say, these 5
नहीं,
elements.
नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. आप कौन से सब्जेक्ट में हैं? बाहर से हैं क्या आप या बीएमयू से हैं?
I request to kindly mute.
नाम बताइए.
Other participants kindly mute.
मनोज कुमार है. ये जो पगड़ी में फोटो लगा हुआ है आपका ये.
Mr. Devender ji, or somehow in case you can mute
तो मैं
yourself.
अलाउ कर देता हूँ. एक्चुअली क्या है कि हम YouTube पे लाइव कर रहे हैं सेशन को और आपके जो भी व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप्स हैं उनमें ये इंफॉर्मेशन कल हमने शेयर की थी.
Dr. Devender,
तो
in case
इसलिए
you can
मीटिंग को
mute.
लॉक कर दिया गया है कि बाकी पार्टिसिपेंट ना उसको बार बार ट्राई ना करें. ऑथर को थोड़ा सा डिस्टर्बेंस होती है जो भी स्पीकर हैं, तो उस वजह से हमने YouTube पे लाइव कर दिया उसको. YouTube पे आप अटेंडेंस मार्क कर सकते हैं. हालांकि अभी मैं आपको अलाउ कर देता हूँ जूम में. मनोज कुमार है आपका नाम, मैं कर देता हूँ आपको.
Devender ji, shall I start?
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Yeah. So, and I request to everyone to kindly mute yourself. That would have been really good for running this smooth session, right? So as we were talking about the 4 kinds of fraud which we are talking, and when we say it is a free consent means these elements should not be present in it. When we say coercion is what? When you say something at the gunpoint, I will commit suicide in case you will not do anything, or in case you will not do this act, means you're threatening someone, threatening maybe for the life, and you are, maybe at the gunpoint, you are making your work done. So that is what the coercion is talking about. When we say undue influence, which is coming under section 16. So what is that? The name suggests undue influence. Say, for example, let's talk about suppose being a teacher, right? Under my students, and I would say to them, no, in case you will not do this thing, you do this thing, or you pay this much of amount to me, otherwise I will reduce your marks, or you do this act particular, otherwise I will not give you the marks, I'll fail you. So because the students who is under my influence, right, I do have a control on the student to some extent, and what I'm using my undue influence, and there I'm just taking the privilege and making the work done, right? So this is not a legal form which I am talking, and this is not a contract which I'm going with. Third is when we say fraud is what? There is some activities, there is some with intention of what we are doing. I'm not presenting the correct fact. This is what the fraud is, right? Now I'm not giving with the intent. I have an intent to deceive someone. I don't have the positive intent. I do have the malified intent. What is the purpose? To deceive someone. So that is what fraud is related to. When we say misrepresentation is what? Misrepresentation of fraud or some facts, right? So what is misrepresentation of facts? I'm not giving the actual facts. I'm just manipulating those facts, right? So this is what? Misrepresentation. Last is mistake. By mistake, I did something. But yeah, in that case also, why the contract is not a valid one. It is what? It becomes void. The moment I just come to know, I do have contact with someone, I just come to know, no, this is the mistake which I have committed. So it becomes a void contact. But in other 4 cases, it is what? Voidable. What is the difference? Means when I use my exercise, or when I use my authority, or when I use the, or I think like this, my student think like this, and his father suggests, no, 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 it is the problem which madam has done. You should take a recourse. You should inform to the university about this. You should make a complaint against it. So this is what, then it becomes voidable. When I exercise, when the compliant exercise is right, then only it becomes voidable. Until unless is not, nobody is exercising, then it is moving on. There is no problem as such. Once you exercise, you complain about it, then only it becomes voidable, right? Then when we say fraud, we have talked about, now this is this particular topic, or this particular session is related to the fraud also. When we say fraud, it is usually what is, which we have already discussed, the intended to deceive someone, to misrepresent someone, right? The purpose is not, the valid intention, right? So what are the different forms? There are different sort of forms. When we say suggestions, first type of fraud is when the suggestions, right, made by what? Who does not believe it to be true, right? So here, what we say, suppose X and Y, right? They have the close contact, or they know each other, or maybe they once they come to know about it. And for example, they are the X is you say the seller, and he said, I just sell the goods, imported goods, and something like this, right? And the buyer says, okay, fine, since you are selling the imported goods, and I'm just looking for this particular, maybe some cream or something like this, kindly give me the imported one. So he do believe, because this, the imported, this cream is good, but you're not giving that. What you're giving, locally manufactured cream you are giving to that, or locally manufactured some of the things you are giving to that. So this is what, this lies in the first category. So then the second one is active concealment of the fact, means you are actively concealing some facts, one having knowledge of the facts. What is it? What is the fact which we are saying? Suppose in this, I just come up with the example. Suppose X and Y. Suppose one is the, for example, yeah, we'll come up like X is dealing with the furniture business, right? What is furniture business? And his, what is his business is to sell the furniture, right, to the others. One client came to him, or other, person who is also dealing with the same thing, and maybe he requires some furniture. He just visited to his shop, and what he said, he has some furniture, and that furniture having some cracks, some problems. So what he did, he had already polished that furniture, use some ointments, or use some sort of material by which he has concealed all the pits in it, all the, maybe the cracks, whatever be, and number of problems are associated. And the person who is also, who has a little bit knowledge of the furniture, he also verified it, but he cannot verify it, or he is not able to verify it, because the material which he has used for the concealment, he deceived that person. Why he deceived that person? Because of the money, right? And active concealment of the information, he has concealed. How? Because of using some lubricant in it, right? So he is not able to identify. So this is also a fraud, and you can raise a complaint against it, right? Then next is promise made without any intention of performing it. You have made a promise. Yes, we'll do that. Say, for example, let's have husband and wife, or say a boy and a girl, right? They have gone for the matrimonial alliance. The husband has made a promise. Yes, I will take care of you. You are my love. You are all the things he has made up. But his intention was not that. His intention was to cheat the girl. Maybe he's already married, just maybe for the monetary purpose, maybe just for some other interest, right? What he did, he has married to the girl, but he is not going to perform the matrimonial alliances or the marriage duties or the marriage commitment, what is promised to. So this is what he promised the thing, but the performance, he is not going to perform. So this is also a fraud, right? Now, when we say any other act fitted to deceive, what is that? When we say Insolvency Act, for example, let's talk about Insolvency Act, let's talk about Competition Act, right? Let's talk about, there are many such, maybe the Companies Act, it is related to that. So where you have mentioned certain things. Here, what we have done, we, in consideration of that, you have not followed the duties. So this is again is a fraud. And whatever you have declared in the insolvency, being an insolvent, this is not the factual thing. You're not being insolvent due to the natural practice. You have deceived due to the, because you yourself owing 2-3 companies, your material, one material belonging to one company, you have transferred to the other company. And something like this, the machinery which you are using is not up to the mark. So due to that, it is the running with the some other activity. Maybe you have procured some fund, which is a problem in itself. So this is how you deceive. So this is also a part of the problem. Then we say any such act or omission as a law, right, which specially declares that to be the fraudulent. These are the 5 categories. The intention in this also to deceive. The omission you have made, as per law you have made, but this is to deceive someone, right? And it is a fraudulent presentation of the facts. Then let's have an example. Suppose if a sell horse through an auction, right? There is an auction which is being there. A sell a horse through an auction to be knowing the horse is to be unsound, right? It is already known to A if the horse is not a sound horse. A said nothing to B. He didn't say anything about the unsoundness of the horse. What do you think? Is it the fraud? In case you're interested, you can write your answer in the chat. What do you think is this? Just give a moment. Just give a minute to think over this. Is it a fraud? No, it is not a fraud. Why? A knows that this is the problem, and he said nothing. Right? So this is as per the Contract Act. It is nothing like this. Right? Now, let's talk about, we have seen in the fraud, in the case of the frauds, what are the 3 common things? First is, there is a false representation. The representation which you have made, the materialistic information which you have made, they are false. Intention is actually to deceive someone, right? To do the wrongful activities. Third is, and you suffered loss. These are the 3 common things. In case of matrimonial alliance also you suffered loss. In case you have sold, something, maybe the, foreign goods, but the locally made goods you have sold, if you have deceived someone, right? In all the 3 cases, in case if you see, there are 3 common things which we have found. Right? Nowadays, very upcoming thing is banking frauds. Lot of money is driven out from the country. Across the country, the banking frauds are very prominent. Wow, how to what extent the causes are concerned, how we can cure them, it's again a point of concern of us, right? Very prominent frauds which we see, right? We will just discuss in the later part of the presentation why the banking frauds are so important. Let's see. Since we know that banks, they're running the economy. In case the banking are not efficient, the functions of the banking are not efficient, any economy could not sustain. So it is prominent part of the economy. When we say Indian economy, yes, Banks, in case the banks, the strikes are going on, in case the banks are closed for say 4 days running together, running together 4 days. So there is something like this very high problem is running. So this is there since all the monetary transactions through the banks are possible. What is the primary responsibility? Their banks, how the bank they work as an intermediate. How? Intermediary. This is because they takes the money of our depositors' money and gives to whom? To the lender like us, right? So who requires in between? They have their commission or they have their incentive in between. You name it that. So how they're running. So what is their primary responsibility? There are some duties. There's some responsibility associated with the banks also. What is to prevent the frauds? This is one of the primary responsibility of the banks, right? Since why they are they have been have responsible because they're dealing with public money. That's not their own money. That's the public money which they are dealing with. So to save the money, how they could save? When they prevent the fraud. So this is one of the responsibility of the bank. So it is what? It is required with the employees to exercise their exercise their diligence, due care in handling the money, right? RBI also gives time to time many instructions, many warnings, many suggestions, many safeguards to the bank employees, many sort of how they can prevent the frauds, how they what they should take care while they are dealing with the transactions. In case if we see the number of frauds when we say so far RBI which I have seen, in case it is very you will be happy to understand, and I hope you would have this information. But yes, comprehensively let us see. In case if we see commercial banks, see mainly the frauds, the economy driven, this is the commercial banks, and you will be happy to know that the commercial banks, those who are running the economy, and the worst part is they are the forefronts where the maximum number of frauds or maximum number of the monetary problems are going on. See the number of cases, and in case if you see NBFCs, UCGs, and your FIs, the number of cases are less. Even in terms of in case of monetary value INR, if we say as per the RBI report. So they are the commercial banks who are involved in highest number of fraudulent activities. Then what is the, and apart from that, even WHO also stated 2%, whatever be the across the countries, the frauds are going on. 2%, it affects globally 2% of the GDP. Globally, 2% of the GDP are affected due to that. You can very well understand what is the significant amount. When the GDP reduces by 0.5%, we say no, it's a great problem. 1% of course is a great problem. So globally, 2% of the GDP it is affected. Right? So when we say in the bank, now let's come to the point. When we say bank, and call about let's say sort of the problems which are related with the checks. Check is a most used negotiable instrument, right? So here, what is account opening frauds? What is the account opening frauds? When you open the account with the intention to receive, right? Maybe some checks are there. You place the checks of someone names, and you want to so maybe some Rajendra Gupta account is there. So you get the check in the name of the Rajendra, you opened an account and you place your the check of that in your account. So this is the fraud intention is there. So this is what one of the problem is. When we say check kitting, it is again a method of fraudulent activities. Where depositor, what they do for where the depositor utilize the time for the clearance. 3 days are required for the clearing of the checks. Suppose A and B are the two parties. A and B are the party, and the second is he has, suppose A has two accounts. He has opened two accounts. What he did from the A account to the B account, what I say, a person has two accounts, A account and B account. What he did, from the A account, he draw a check to the B account. Then in the same day, after some time, again draw a check from B to A. Second day, also he did the same thing. From A account, he has certain money, he gone with the same transaction. And third day, because he knows that it will take at least 3 days for going ahead with the things. So third day, what he has done, he has withdrawn a part of the money. Now when the bank is going for this, and he has a confidence with the employees in the bank. See, sir, my money is there and it is coming, the check is there pending, and he has shown that to also. And the banks also know this money is coming. And he has withdrawn some part of the money out of this. And at the third day, when it is clear, neither in the A account nor in the B account, the money is existing. So this is what sort of problem which he has made is known as check kitting. Now the check frauds, which are the most common frauds, a majority of us have known, and sometimes we are accustomed, we have faced this problem too, right? These are the very commonly known frauds. Sometimes the checks are stolen, 4 signatures are made. The signatures are made not in the proper way. 1 0 is placed along with that. So these are some of the check frauds. Then we say counterfeit securities. What is the counterfeit? Which is related to which is countering to that. What is that? There are some securities, there are some bonds, maybe some certificates. What you did? Maybe you have some land papers, some documents relating to the land papers. The one bank, you have taken loan not from one bank, or the person has taken loan not from one bank, with the same documents, made the duplicate documents and taken loan from the 4 banks, which many of the frauds which we have seen, and afterwards we'll see that also. Means one property from the 4 banks you have taken the loan. With what? Duplicate papers. Once you're coming up with when the final payment is coming at that point of time, now you say, okay, fine, you take me to the jail or whatever the things you're going to do, and you've dumped crores of rupees into that. Now the 4 banks are fighting with each other and for the one property. So this is what we say. Similarly, with the other things also, maybe the bonds are the same thing, where you have, you have taken as a security to the bank. And similarly, you have come up with the misrepresentation. Computer frauds, which are very common. Most common in this is hacking of the account, tampering, or tampering with the disk. So maybe some floppy you have used, maybe some other device which you have used, and you have tampered the documents. Unauthorized access you have taken. A person in general, it is being advised while you are in the public cafe, don't use your secret accounts or monetary transaction there. And secondly, go with your laptop only, but not at the places which is and use your network. It generally be suggested. Why? Because sometimes there are certain devices, maybe some sort of things are there which hack, or even at the home itself, there are very software which hack your computers. So whatever the personal informations are, they will take it. Sometimes some fraudulent activities are running. They ask for your OTP and all. So these are all the computer frauds which are related to it. So when we say, now let's come up with the financial scams in India. There are many financial scams which are related to the accounting in nature. Means you are not followed accounting principles or relating to some principal issues. What is the intention? Intention is there are some either through the willful intent or failure to understand the proper procedures of the program are behind these financial scams. Your intention is to do that. Your intention is not clear. Or the persons, those who have done these things, their intention is one of the issue. Some biggest, let's talk about some biggest accounting and financial frauds, which has running with the same problem, not adhere to the basic principles. What are, as per IMF, which I have already discussed with you, what word based is 2 trillion in corruption. 2 trillion in corruption, not billion, trillion in corruption, which is 2% of the world GDP. You can very well understand the gravity of these frauds, how this impacted the economy. Various policies, legislature have been implemented in India. Let's have an example. GST was made, demonetization was made. Why? For what? To reduce the fraudulent activities. What are the fraudulent activities? High value currencies. What they generally, in case we are indulging in, so we will not be interested in going with, in case we are going with any fraudulent activity or something like this, the intention is not clear. So what we'll do, we'll just save the money in the high currency notes, not in like 10 rupees notes. Nobody is interested in keeping 10 rupees note with them. So what they are doing, they are keeping, they are storing in the high value because it takes less space to store it. Suppose I want to 2 crores fraud in some of the things like this. I'm just dealing with some, black marketing or something like this. So what I'll do, 10 rupees, 2 lakh notes starting to be very high. So what I will like to do, 2000, and then in the multiples of 2000 will be, very best to me. Reason being, because it will take little space. I can, keep it somewhere, and I do have a lot of cushion around it. So that's why I said the high currency notes. So what the government did? Government did, reason 2016, the government did what? They demonetized what? High currency notes. 500 rupees at that point of time, 500 rupees note was running behind. Right. So what the government had did, they demonetized. Yeah. So that's a bank you are supposed to keep in the, and the whole process. Right. So some of the measures which government has taken, Indian government has taken, what to reduce the corruption or to reduce the fraudulent activities or black marketing. Some of these scams when we talk about, right? Let's the top, generally the topmost one is when we say the Satyam scam, which is blurring to our mind. Maybe the Neera Modi scam, lot of Harshad Mehta case scam. There are a lot of scams which have taken place. Few of the scams we will talk about. Right. The first one is when we say Satyam computer scam. This scam was running from 5 years, and 2009 it was noticed. Since 2003 to 2008, he was doing, the chairman, which we say B. Rama Raju. He was, he was a very learned person also, and along with whosoever we call, they are the governance part. This is directly reflecting to the governance of the institution, governance of the company. How the governance is affected? Because all the governance factors, those who are the prominent directors, those who are controlling the company, they are involved in it. Even the auditors, they all are involved. And this scam landed for running behind it 5 years. He has gone with all the manipulation, running with take 5 year nobody noticed. At that point of time, Satyam was among the blue chip companies. So what he did in this is, what are the participants which are involved in it? The chairman, B. Ramaraju, who is running the company. His V. Srinivasa, he was a chief financial officer, and Sri Srinivas, they are the PWD auditors, Subramaniam and Srinivas, who was a PWD officers. They were involved. They are the key persons those are involved. Even the brother of B. Ramaraju, he was also involved, who was managing all the affairs in this case. They're the 10 persons those are involved in this scam. What is, and in 2009, it was broken out. How it is broken out? Majority of us are known. Let us recap to the same thing. When Ramalinga Raju, I'm sorry, he confessed. And do you think he ethically is confessed? No. This Satyam computer was listed in many, it was internationally listed. It's listed in US, listed in Europe, many stock exchanges. It was listed. In case it was surfaced, and since the company, many of the stakeholders are money is involved in it, so he admitted at India itself first, right? So what he did, he disclosed this, he's confessed this statement that I have gone with the tampering of this company is involved in tampering of the accounts. And he said, disclose that 7,000 crores of accounting fraud in the balance sheet is involved, right? And he sent us mail to SEBI and other stock exchanges also, that this is the problem which is running behind. The Raju has also manipulated his books. How? He has gone with the many receipts and payments he has shown. How he has inflated his cash. How he has inflated his cash? He has got an inflation of the what he's talk about when we say inflated cash in the tune of 12,318 crore. Right? What he did in this case, 7,561 fake bills was detected from the company. He has gone with the number of vouchers that this much is sold, this much is sold. He has inflated his revenue. How he has inflated in revenue? He has gone with the fake receipts. Many fake receipts he has issued during the 5 years, which has inflated the revenue. How? It is in the tune of rupees 4,783 crores. Such a fake receipt vouchers he has issued, or this companies has issued. Many persons are involved within a period of 5 to 6 years, right? And this probe continuously running, I said around 6 years. 5 years is this, and the 6th year it is running with, right? And it is found also 500 in the books of account, 500 crores books of account is a fraud is. How it is detected, what was the action which was taken. See the action, when we say the penalties are, when we talk about the penalties at Indian front, then the penalties are not as significant as in case of US, Europe, and the developed economy. That is one of the problems. Many number of frauds. If we compare India or developed or with the developing, there we found their regulatory mechanism is quite sound. Their punishments are quite sound. People, they nobody, courage to go for the fraud. Though there also the frauds are done, but their punishment is quite high, minimum 20 years, 15 years, 22 years, 25 years. That's the punishment. And see in case of what we have done in case of Satyam. What is the action which we have taken? When this fraud surfaced, right? What the government has did, because of they want to save the interest of the employees, because employees has no issue. They were working for the organization and nearly 50,000 employees are the part of. So they have auctioned that. And who has acquired? Tech Mahindra has acquired. The previous name was Mahindra Satyam, but later on it was converted into the Tech Mahindra. The financial losses, and how much is the capital or how much is the punishment he has gone? The imprisonment is talk about only 7 years. He along with 10 other persons, those who are involved. 7 years imprisonment. Raju Ramalingam, he got it. Then the next, let's talk about Ketan Parekh scam, which is well known. What is he is also a very learned person. He is a chartered accountant, qualified chartered accountant. He thought of, he joined his family firm, and in the family firm, Ketan Parekh and his friends, he has an international friend, which is very one of the celebrity at that time, means Carrie Packer. Both of them started a venture capital, and the purpose is to fund the startups. This was with a prominent cause or the prominent cause, prominent reason they have started this venture. What happened then? They have gone with the stock market, like Harshad Mehta case, everybody is known to that. What is stock market manipulation? They did. Similarly, they did in this case also. What is there is little bit different. The causes, the Harshad Mehta case, he was a broker and he has acquired, we all have known that no company shares and inflated, how he inflated many people, many management, and so many people are involved in it, and that was busted. In case of the, Ketan Parekh, when we say, he's in the some of the similar lines. Right? So he has started the startups and going with the manipulation during the period of 98 to 2001. What he has done in this, I've already highlighted. He has taken the stock of the companies, those who have low market capitalization, those who are running with low capitalization. Their market value is less. And secondly, low liquidity. Less number of people are involved in the company to have the low liquidity. They understand the problem of the company. They're running with the crunch also, liquidity crunch, as well as the low market capitalization, the shares which are listed on the market having the low value. What they did, they pumped their money into the shares of these companies and started fictitious trading. Not one day, slowly and steadily, they started putting their money in that. Not only in one company, there are many such companies they have identified and started putting their money. Now, fictitious trading, one has picked, and the second day some other's name, because he himself is running the brokerage firm. So, and the other day the trading, he has shown the fictitious trading. So the shares or the stocks were rising up. Even the management is also involved of those companies. They have given them incentives to them. They were reasoning their problem is, somehow they, inflated the liquidity, and since it created the noise also, and there is nothing like this. Even some of the companies, in case if you see, there are the Visual Soft company, whose shares initially, which they started, is floated at 625, and they have inflated to even 12 times. See, 8,488 shares, more than 8,000 per share it was inflated. Sonata Software, 10 shares, it means the bucket of the 10. They've started. They have done manipulation in this, and they do have the tie-up with the institutional investors also. So they have their advice to the institutional investor, because institutional when the market is floating up like this, so the institutional investors are also interested in getting the gain. So they have also invested. They have advised them. So they also park many of their clients which they are associated, because the market is moving up. So they have also invested. So what happened on March 1, when there was a crash? Because when here in the previous one itself, I have already shown what he did. Once they inflated, now he has invested at a price of 625, and now the money and that share raises to 8,448, means more than 8,000 rupees. He's really bringing out his money. He has gained more than 12 times of this, right? So what he steadily bring out his money, sold out his shares. When he sold out, अपने shares निकाल दिए, अपने shares बेच दिए. So what is there? Whatever be the profit is, in between, whatever be the profit is. But what is the effect? The share market moved down. When he sold out his shares, this money market, the share market is, because subsequently there is no sale and purchases going on. Those who have invested in such a high price, they were interested in taking back, because my money is involved. And when the prices of the shares are moving down, you're selling off. So whatever be the prices are available, when you're selling off high, you know that the prices are moving down. So the Sensex crashed to 176 points, which is a major concern of the union budget, or that is the government, NDA government at that point of time. So they have appointed a committee on this to understand and to see RBI understand there is some problem is going on. So RBI, what have they done? They have seized their account. What action they have done? They have refused to pay off. Right. So the whatever be the bank, the loan which Parekh has taken from the Bank of India, or what he has taken, and he has not infused his, what smartness he has done, he has taken the money from the different banks and infused that money in the market. Right. So, and now the banks understand there is the suspicious which is going on, and which I have already mentioned, K10 stocks which he has won. And it was, within few days it was identified. The regular working hours, how the working hours I have already mentioned. I'll share the PPTs in case required. So there was a regular, working hours from morning to evening. It was going on even in the midnight of the Calcutta or stock exchange. He has cashed all the documents, all the money. He has bring out all the money. So next day, the money market crashed down, resulting high losses, high problem, and how it is surfaced. And what is the punishment which they took? This is, previously it was 1 year rigorous imprisonment for the economic crimes. But when the special court is found, and Ketan Parekh and Karthik Parekh, his brother or his relative, when they are unable to pay the penalty, then the SEBI has sentenced them 3 years imprisoned along with the 5 lakh each. So this was the punishment which they got, which they have, many people have suffered losses due to all these problems. Third is, prominently we know that, Nirav Modi case. Money laundering, a giant, a diamond merchant who is, of course, who is born in India, but, born and brought up in the Belgian city, which we say Antwerp, which is a diamond capital of the world. His study was at the Pennsylvania University, and then he joined his family business, who was his uncle Choksi. He was running Gitanjali diamond business, so he has joined that. So both of Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi, right? What they did, they very know where everybody is knowing, I hope, that is they have swindled, they have manipulated the money of Punjab National Bank. How much? This more than 11,000 crore. This was in 1.77 billion. Some of the country's economy is this. That's a fraud he has committed. The scam which was detected in third week of January, that was in 2018, right? The things were going on, right? In 2018, it was in 2011 to 2018, he was running all these things, right? This 7 years he has gone with the manipulation, and that is surfaced in 2018. So in the third week of January 2018, it was surfaced, right? And then PNB to management, the management of PNB, they have think of, yes, there is some problem. How the problem is, let us discuss that also. Then they have approached to CBI, and the CBI, they have seized their, after they were going for the investigation, they found some problems. They have seized their jewelry, 34,000 pieces of jewelry, which is what we only 85 crore, and they have gone with the fraud of 11,000 crore, right? Not even, see, you can see the amount, not even 1%, right? So this is the thing. What now? How it happened? That is a point. So this was a thing which is transparent. But what had happened in between? So that is the thing which we have. In 2011, what he has, this is the bank fraud related to overseas fraud also, which we say their transaction with Indian bank and the overseas bank. So here, what is running? It's a letter of credit, letter of undertaking, which is running. Letter of undertaking is issued by whom? By the bank, by the national bank to the other banks, where they give the undertaking on the behalf of the client. In case the client is not giving, then we will money. So to whom they are giving? Those who have high reputation in the banking system, right? Or in the bank, those who have close association with the bank, or those who are value added customers. For them, they are issuing letter of undertaking, right? So initially in 2011, what had happened? Around 8,000 crore of this, the letter of undertaking, they have worth rupees 8,000 crore they have got. So what is the obligation in case my customer is not paying, I will make the payment. In case Nirav Modi is not paying, the bank will pay the payment in their account. So there was a SWIFT system which is running, right? It was SWIFT is used for sending the instant message, right, from the national bank to the foreign banks, right? So once the foreign bank gets this, through the SWIFT message, this LOC, right? So they disburse the loans or they give the loans to the customers, right? So same with the Nirav Modi they have done. In the Punjab Bank, there are certain persons, certain employees within the Punjab Bank with whom he has a good network, giving costly gifts to them, and they have some undue advantage, taking undue advantage from them. So that was, the nexus what he played with. And when credit was due, right, at that time, what is it? He take the loan from one account to the other account and make the things in this way. So that was system, and slowly, steadily, he has issued over the 7 years. He has issued letter of undertaking with whom? With the employees, with the help of the employees. And he was not paying that on time. So when he is not paying that on time to the overseas branch, so what they were doing? They were recovering that from the PNB to offset the payment. When the borrower did not repay, so this is what first time the 800 which he stabbed in, and then the things go on like this. With the 7 years, there are 2-3 PNB employees are involved in it, and they are the high prominent customer DGM. One is, Gokulnath Shetty is a former DGM of PNB. There's a high profile persons are involved in it. These, all LOC, showing LOC on behalf of Nirav Modi by PNB to the other overseas branch, and which is accumulated in the tune of 11,000 crore. So this was how the CBS system, and even the CBS system was effective, but it was not able to detect this discrepancy, because it takes time to come up with the things. And such a dignified people are are involved in these all practices. So this nexus they have gone. So how it is landed up, which we understand this, when they are not going, and when the PNB found 2 junior branch officials had issued LOC, which is being noticed, which once it is noticed, then on behalf of them, the Nirav Modi and Chokse, so which have guarantee, they have sent their case to CBI. Once the CBI is involved, the whole thing surfaced. So, but before they could go for the problems, they flooded the country and moved back to the other country. This was the scam, which is because there are some of the people, those who are already involved with them. How it is? More than 10,000, which we have already gone. It takes, one of the most important thing is, which I would like to mention here, when we say letter of undertaking, the stipulated period to issue letter of undertaking by which the RBI has given instructions to the bank is only for the 90 days. Not more than 90 days you can give it this. But he has utilized or imported the world. He has got this LOU for 1 year. So till 1 year see the amount, see the manipulation time which he was using. One is 3 months, other is 1 year. He is manipulating for 1 year with the same 90 days credit LOC. Right. So this was some of the problems which associated. And the Nirav Modi first we have already discussed. And then, yeah, and there were some, some of the probing agencies also found the problem. UAE has come, that was broken out as there also. So he is, because he was in one of the virgin, and this part, majority of the things have already discussed. Another loan fraud, when we say, another loan fraud, which was, when we say the Malia, this was actually the loan fraud. And the previous one, it was a letter of undertaking, which we talk about. But in this case, this is what he has borrowed the loan. And the Malia is very famous for this, for his hefty style, for his lavish style, for their all aspects. Let's talk about what is the case behind it. What airline, Kingfisher airline, which Malia is very famous for, it is collapsed, and the Malia fled to UK in 2016. We all know that. And he has publicly offered, he said, yes, I'm just going to repay my debt. That's not a problem. I'm just going to repay that. But I am not, whatever the allegations are made on me, they are all useless. They are not, up to the mark. They have no say in this case. Right. So, and though he has become a fugitive of economic offender also, this was. So UB Spirit, what is the case behind it? Let us see the case also. Malia was owing Malia's inheritance. The UB Spirit, it was a company which his father was running, and he was being inherited, given to Malia at the age of 28. Right. So then later on, he has gone with the Kingfisher in 2005. And then he has introduced afterwards Kingfisher beer brand also. He has taken his father and make a joint and enhance the group in this way. Right. So the Kingfisher Airline, what is how it is surfaced? Let's talk about. In 2005, because his style of working was very lavish. Even the Kingfisher, he was paying such an hefty amount to the young girls and to the young employees at that point of time. Very lavish amount he was paying. And Kingfisher at that time was known for the highest paying salary for, and other amenities also they were providing to them. So that was a debt was burden, and the debt was so high that it was impossible to run the airlines or continue their operation. But still, he carry on the business, and he taken the funds, he taken the loans from the various institutions, various banks, and it was when the irregularities was surfaced. So Malia, what he did, he left the country in March 2016. And when the banks, when he run off, when a public sector bank moved to the debt tribunal recovery board. So because he was knowing that he is a fugitive, financial offender, he was understanding that because he did all these things. So, and he understand once he is identified, then he'll be behind the bar. So instead of going behind the bar, what he did, he just fled off to the UK, because that's a country which is giving asylum to the other fugitives. In 2019, he was declared fugitive offender. 3 years it takes to recourse for this. And so 2020 it is, 2021, the last 5 years, the cases are going on, but nothing is happening. One court to other court, or one court to other court, it's moving on, and other to other. That's the thing. So Malia was denied all the allegation. What he did? Publicly, he said, I'm just going to pay the principal. Whatever be the principal is due to me, I'm just going to pay that. Right? But nothing is as such. So what is just before leaving the country in 2016, Malia wrote an open letter. How? What he has written in this? All inquiries conducted have failed to find him. He said this in the statement. And he has written a letter also. All inquiries conducted have failed to find evidence of misappropriation of funds by Kingfisher Airlines or myself. Despite pledging blue chip securities and disposition significant amount in the court. Now, what has happened? A successful disinformation campaign has ensured my becoming the poster boy of all the banks. Well, the banks are making me the poster boys. Whatever be the NPAs they have incurred, they want to save that and making me as a target in this. What he has stated this. So now, yeah, what next, which we are trying to say? All these frauds which we have talked about, they are the few which there are many others. Some are related to the loan, some are related to the LOC, some are related to the stock market, which we have already discussed. Some are related to the governance. There can be different nature, but the intention is to deceive maybe the banks, maybe to some individuals to whom the broker firms was interested in, Parak Mehta. So what we are trying to say is, Indian government, they are making now, even in presently in case we say we have, in case of the Nirav Modi also from last 2 years, in case of Malia also, in case they are making all the efforts for their extradition. But how? Now one court to other court, we hear the legal procedure which prompt these offenders to make more and more frauds. Right. So this is what what we understand through the fraud. Why? What is the intention? And here when we talk about in developing countries, and India is one of the country in that. Here the regulatory mechanism is not that strict. So that is again one of the factor which help them in making more and more or commit more and more frauds. So these are certain things which we have to take care in case. And who is suffering? The customers, because each and every one of us, these offenders are taking whose money? Our money. We are paying tax to the government. We are paying so many things, directly and indirectly. Direct is the tax. There are indirect tax also we are paying. So these are the things which this is very important things to understand. Right? So now there are some money laundering frauds which we talk about. Illegal, they have obtained money by converting the cash into untraceable transaction in the bank. One is which we have talked about. Second type which we talk about, money transfer fraud. Right? Money transfer frauds. So far we have talked about some instruments, like LOC which we talk. There are another thing which is running or very upcoming is using your digital. What is that? Mail, telephone, electronic process, telex. These are maybe some computer system, maybe the latest technology. Right. So how it is? Let's talk about it. Telex, earlier it was used, even presently also it is being used. Sorry. So there, what is telex is? They're sending some codes to divert funds from one to another. Letter of credit we have already seen. This is more almost in majority of the time in international trading it is being used, right? When we talk about the cross-border trading, it is being used, right? So the one, when we say cross-border trading, one bank give the letter of credit and letter of undertaking also to the other overseas bank. On the basis of that, the transaction is being moved. Letter of credit, letter of undertaking in terms of giving the loan, and letter of credit when we say the money is when the goods are transferred from one place to others. Now, advance fees of the fraud, which is popularly known as 419 advance fee frauds, right? This involves an agent with an offer of the business proposition, and this will and for the long term, which it takes long time to surface. Now let's come up with some figures. when we say the number of cases which has seen in case of the banks, when let's talk about. See the number of cases when we say nationalized bank or the government bank, the number of cases are highest. The percentage is 17%, but the amount which is involved is 83%. When we say out of the 1,69,119 number of cases, how much in the initial bank have did? Only 29,653, which is only 17%, close to 17%. But when we say amount, in terms of amount, so high money the offenders are borrowing from them, taking from them, siphoning from them. See, this is higher. 83% of the total cases belongs to the nationalized public sector banks. When we say old, private sector, whether it is new and old, it is just 12%. Just 12%. Foreign banks, 4%. National banks, those who are driving to the economy, they suffered 83%. This is what the problem is. Now, when we say technology-related fault, we will just talk about KYC-related fraud, advances-related frauds. What are these? Let's talk about technology-related fraud. Nowadays, technology is, without technology or without digitalization, without modernization, innovation, it's difficult to survive in the market. So technology is one of the critically desired, required thing which every bank has to follow, right? This is required. They cannot run without the technological updation. So what are the problems associated with this, right? So when we say out of the total fraud, nearly 65% of the frauds are related to the technology, right? So what are these? Maybe it is related to the ATM, maybe through internet banking, maybe through alternate banking, maybe debit card, credit card, many things are involved. Banks adopt new service delivery platform like, nowadays, quick mobile app is there, mobile, internet, social media. Why? To enhance the efficiency, customer friendly approach and go for the cost cutting, cost subsidization also. The cost cutting also, cost effectiveness also. The bank customers now become more tech savvy. Young bloods are coming in the organization, and even not only young, even each and every sort of customer, frequency may be less, but yes, they adapt to go with the tech. And so they started becoming more and more products. So they are, they have the high values also. Even RBI also issued advisory note to them for the authentication, two-factor authentication, OTP also. They have come up with the for more regulatory framework. They have gone with the NEFT, RTGS. They have even put a cap also of the value of money which you can trade within a day, or with the number, with a restricted number of persons, say with one person only 40,000 of transaction you can involve with. So they have put in various checks also for this, technology driven platform. So, but still the problems are going on, like duplicate sales, telecom regulatory authority is under this. So many things are coming with, right? So when we say in case of RBI, right, in case there any fraud up to 1 lakh is, running up, which you come up to 1 means less than 1 or up to 1 lakh. So there is, then RBI instruction is there is no, you can't report that to, this is not supposed to be reported to the RBI directly. So what is, there is a sheet which every quarterly you are sending, in that you just send the list of the defaults or list of the frauds which a person has done. So the list of the fraud up to 1 lakh is this. When we say in between 1 lakh to 25 lakhs, in case some fraud has undertaken, right? So there is one form, which is FMR form, right? This is a form in the name of FMR, which you're supposed to send within 3 weeks of the date of detection. Whenever the fraud has undertaken, within 3 weeks to the regional office of the urban bank department of RBI, the bank are supposed to send to the RBI. Then when it is more than 25 lakhs, right? There are 3 stages, 25 lakhs and above. So there is a central fraud monitoring cell is there. So then it is supposed to be sent. Again, the form is to be filled, FMR, which we have talked about. And then the other things are also required, like DO letter to address the principal chief general manager, right? And there are other things also. Now, in case if we see in terms of figures, it's very interesting and you'll really appreciate it. See, in case if we see less than 1 lakh of fraud, how many number of cases in case of nationalized bank are very less. In case of private sector, public sector, their number of cases are very, very high, substantially high. When we say only, amount is only 31.97%. And rest public and private sector, or rest of private sectors and the foreign sector are dominating this, less than 1. But when the amount increases, 1 lakh to 1 crore, in between 1 lakh to 1 lakh crore, see, the number of cases in case of the other banks are quite pretty low. Even amount is also pretty low. In case of nationalized bank, it is quite high. When it is increases from 1 crore to 50 crore, again you see the number of cases are so high and amount are so high compared to other. So that was a basic problem associated with the public sector banks. In case of more than 50 crore, see, they have hardly 1 or 2, 3 cases, less than 5. But in case of the public sector banks, see the number of cases they do have. So high. So now we have talked about all these things, like how the frauds are related, who are involved, how the banks are, what are the regulatory mechanism, how means what actual problem is. Now, in case the fraud occurred or any problem occurred, and when we talk about the contract that will become void and voidable, 2 aspects we have taken care, right? So how you can go with the how you can complain it in case you're not satisfied. This is the one aspect which we talk about the fraud. Now, when we say complaints, compliant can be a person, can be an organization or their representative while making their complaint. They can be anything, any one out of this, right? What is the complaint? Complaint is simply, it's an expression of dissatisfaction. I'm using this product, I'm not fighting, whatever they have promised is not, we don't find that is to be the promised is being filled, or I'm just identifying this problem. Maybe related to the goods, maybe related to some loan, maybe related to some other aspects, right? So I'm not finding that the expression of first dissatisfaction is there. So the other is, what I'm saying is the other is then they appeal, right? Other than that, you appeal. First is complaint. Appeal, you need some, when the order is not there, I'll just later on, I'll just clear the distinction between. So what I'm saying, first in complaint, there is dissatisfaction by an individual can be, which we have already talked about, relating to the activities. Maybe it is a body, maybe it is a certified person, maybe it is some shop, anything like this. So you are making a complaint against maybe the equipment, maybe some consumer goods, maybe some bank things, to a certified person. And what is your requirement is to respond their expectation. So what when the complaint are being raised, a certified person is being appointed. Certification process are reviewed by whose deputy CEO or designated employee assigned by that organization. In case of the consumer court, they assign the persons to deal with the complaint of that. And the designated employee should not be the part of the staff involved in this assessment against the complaint, right? When we say appeal is one step ahead of the complaint. In case you have made a complaint against some organization, maybe in the consumer court, he has made a complaint. And the consumer court has given the judgment or given the order. This is the thing you have to make, maybe against the consumer, maybe against the, against the seller. So the seller and the consumer has right to move to the higher ups. So that is what appeal is. Appeal is when the order being passed by wherever you have launched your complaint is not up to your expectation, or you're not interested, you find there is there's a problem, I should now move to the next. So this is what appeal is. So the appeal is, there are different categories also. When we say appeal to the state commission. State commission is what? Any person who is aggrieved by an order. Order is what? Which we have talked about. It is a complaint, which you raised a complaint to an organization, against an organization, maybe to the consumer court, maybe to some BRC, and somewhere you have raised a complaint and they have given their order. Yes, this is to be in this way, right? Any person aggrieved by an order made by district forum. Now what you are going, district forum, whosoever with that you have gone with, right? So now you move that from the district forum against what? State commission. Then from the district forum, whatever with the order they have given, they are moving to the state commission within what? Within the period of 30 days. Right. So this is what appeal tenure is. However, the state commission may entertain the appeal after the expiry of the set period of 30 days. That is the different thing. And then any person, then the next, in case the state commission you are not satisfied, then you can move to the next authority, which is called national commission, right? Any person aggrieved by the order of the state commission, right? They are not satisfied with the state commission order, can move to the national commission. Again, the period is 30 days, right? So this is within the prescribed days. In case, whereas the appeal of the person is not entertained, in case whatever be the judgment passed by the state commission, right? In case I'm a person, they have ordered me to pay, suppose some charges against some of the order which we have gone with, and I'm not giving 50% of that, I have to deposit in the national commission, or 35,000, whichever is less. In case not, then I'm not entitled, right? So then hearing of the appeal, when we say the next session is state commission or the national commission. In case you are not satisfied, then what you're talking to the next one, the next level. So next level, it could be, when national commission and they are not satisfied, then you can go to the Supreme Court against the order made by the national commission or the state commission, and then for the original justification, right? So which is more than 1 crore is there. So this is what the process which we have talked about. And the Supreme Court may entitle an appeal after the expiry of this 30 days, which we talk about. Again, in this case also, whatever be the judgment or the order given by the National Commission, at minimum 50% of that, you need to deposit to at the Supreme Court. These are certain things, and this is governed under Section 23. This is, thank you so much for the patient listening. This is all from my end. Any question? You're most welcome. Any question? That's all from my end.
Devender sir.
Dr. Devender and Dr. Nisha, I will hand over to you in case participants has any query, any
Yes,
they want to discuss.
Devender sir.
जी मैम, मैं देख रहा हूँ. जो भी क्वेरीज है वो आप देख लेता हूँ.
Okay, sir.
मैम अभी तक कोई क्वेरी नहीं आई. सब थैंक्स बोल रहे हैं. मैं एक्चुअली यूट्यूब का स्क्रीन जो है शेयर कर देता हूँ. स्क्रीन पे आप स्क्रीन जो है स्टॉप कर दीजिए स्क्रीन शेयरिंग.
Okay, just a just.
अभी तक कोई क्वेरी नहीं मैम. All are saying thank you मैम. Thanks a lot. Informative session. There is no query. अभी तक कोई query नहीं.
Okay, there is no query. That's very good. Very nice.
200 participants are there.
Okay, great. Great.
अभी तक कोई query नहीं है.
Thank you, ma'am.
So shall we close the session?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Informative.
Thank you so much, madam. Neha ma'am, thank you so much. And
We
Devender.
had to have you with us, and
Nisha madam, I'm sorry, Dr. Nisha, I'm really thankful to you also, and Dr. Devender also, and the whole team who has so nicely, cooperated for all the things together. The
Thank you so
participants also.
And now I would request my co-host.
Ma'am, two devices are there.
Can I leave?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
I think the sitting beside you.
Can I start, sir?
Just give me a second. I have to check my camera. Then I just come back. Okay, ma'am?
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay, just give me a few seconds, right? I'm just resetting my camera. I think some issues with my camera. So give me a few seconds. After that, I will come back. It will do